Hey everybody, it's George. Welcome back to the page. As you can tell sitting in front of me here, today we're going to talk about crossbows. Okay, I used to shoot a compound bow for years. When I messed my back up, I can't hold the bow no more. And I let my brother-in-law have my compound bow, and I went to the crossbows. Don't get me wrong, I love a compound, and any kind of bow, I love to shoot it, but because of the condition of my back, if I'm gonna hunt, I have to hunt with a crossbow. And another thing is where you have to draw these back to cock them. I can take his to somebody's house and have them cock it for me, and then I can go into the woods, load it, and hunt with it. Okay. The first thing I want to talk to you about is the safety of a crossbow. These things are under tremendous force. And, this one here has 160 pounds to pull this from here to here. Okay, it releases like 400 and some pound of kinetic energy forward to push the bolt out of the boat. And that's a lot. Okay, every year before deer season, I like to take and look at my limbs. That's these, it comes from the sides. Look at them real careful, like right here, and make sure there's no cracks, no splinters, or anything like that. If you see anything that looks out of whack, don't shoot this crossbow. Because if you ain't had a limb blow up in your face, that's the scariest thing I believe I've ever had done. Okay? I don't see anything on this side that's deformed or looks funny. This side looks good. Now, this is a Parker Enforcer. I guess I should have told you that. Crossbow. It weighs 7 pounds. It's got 160 pounds to pull that string back. That's what it takes to pull that string back. And it shoots 300 feet per second. Now, that's doing pretty good. Okay. It's got a Night STA optic on it. And let me look. It's got 5 lines with little circles in the middle for your yardage. This little bow right here has always been accurate. I mean, I shoot 30, 40, 50, 60. Okay. I can go out to 60 yards and it's accurate. And I've never had nothing to walk away. Now, it does have the lighting optics in it. I don't know if you can see that, but it does. But if it's getting dark or a little late or whatever, I normally won't shoot an iffy shot with one of these, especially at dark, because man, it takes a long time sometimes to find these deer. Okay, the second thing you need to look at every year is your string from here across, because this is like 1,000 threads. Okay, we want to look at it and make sure it's not frayed or fuzzy. There's nothing coming apart. Like now, this one here, I see some things on it that brings concern. Like there's a couple places there that it's got cat whiskers, as I call them. I don't know what the proper name is, but it's got like little hair sticking up on this string, showing me this string's wore. Okay, this one will go to the bow shop, and I will have them to string it for me and put me a new string on this year, because with this string, I don't feel safe shooting a bow. And they make this, let me see if I can find it. I kept bowstring wax on this. It's sticky from it. But, it's a mechanical thing, and it does wire. So this one this year will get a new string. I also put a little wax up this rail And the reason I do that is when that thing comes up through there, if you don't, it makes a noise. And trust me, in the woods, that's a big noise. Okay, I keep the cocking ropes. Let me see. Are they in there? No. Here they are. I use these. They're just cocking ropes. I'd like to have me one that's got the cocker on it. It's just, I haven't found one that I can afford just yet. But, you know, these just assist you in cocking this bow so it doesn't feel like, you know, you're pulling back at full 160 pounds. And they just simply slide. They go from back here to up here on your string. And you want to make sure your handles are turned out when you hook it. And then you just, you know, take a hold of your handles and pull them, and that pulls the string back and cocks the crossbow. Okay. Now, I have silencers on this on the front and on the limbs because it makes a loud whoomp when you shoot it. And, you know, I've tried to silence it as much as possible. You don't hear nothing now, but when it hits these stoppers, you hear that, you know, it's not that loud. It's a boom. And, you know, I'm going to say at 20 yards, you would hear it easily, or maybe even further. But it is a, you know, real nice crossbow. It serves me well. It's done everything I've asked for it to do. I've killed deer with it. I killed a bear with it. You know, it's just a real nice bow. This is my primary bow. And I have another one that I can carry. I keep as my backup in case, you know, something go wrong. This bow could get knocked off. And one year, I loaned it to a buddy of mine, and when it come back, dude, it was shooting so far off. They was like, I didn't check it, which, you know, from now on, I will always check my bow before I go in the woods at the first of the year. Hold on, give me just a second, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm sorry. My throat's about as dry as the Sahara Desert, and I went and made me a jug of ice water. Okay. The crossbow is a good tool. I like them. You know, I used to be a compound snob, I guess what you say. You know, when they first come out, you could hunt crossbows. I stayed right there in my compound. And, you know, when my back got bad, I had to make some changes because one time my brother-in-law had to help me out of a deer stand. And what it was, I draw the bow back, my back give out, and I had to just release the bow. And then I was just stuck, and it just happened. I have, you know, we carry walkie-talkies, and I messaged him, told him I was in trouble. He come down and got me out of the deer stand. He said, no more. And, you know, I give up the compound bow. But, you know, overall, this is a nice bow. I was hunting one, and, you know, I had like $400 to play with. I got this, the case, the arrows. Now, I bought this used. It was used. But I got a carrying case. I got, you know, he gave me the scope, everything, fully set up, arrows, quiver, all. And it was under $400. So, you know, I was tickled to death with it. And trust me, I've killed quite a few deer with this. And it's a really good working bow. Okay, now, I always try to keep a backup to anything I have. And I bought this one. And this just a little cheap bow. I think they're like $269. And it's a killer instinct enforce. What fears? The fears killer instinct. Okay. Now, this little, well, okay, that'll work. This little crossbow here, it shoots faster than that bow over there, which to me was amazing considering it was cheaper. It's a smaller limbs on it and stuff. And the same, now this one here is a Killer Instinct 405 Fierce. It weighs 6.5 pounds. It has a 160-pound pull right here like the other one, but it shoots 405 feet per second. And this one down here only shoots 300 feet a second. So this one is pulling 105 feet per second faster, flight time than the other one. I have, the silencers for this one here and here. It's average a quiet bow. Let's see, what is the optics? Red dot. This has got a red dot, and it's a 5-line. And I'm pretty sure I start this at 20. It's got a 20, a 30, a 40, and a 50. Okay. Once again, I want to make sure that the limbs look good and stuff like that on the back and front. So, you want to look back here, and if you see anything that looks, kind of weird or not exactly right, limbs are expensive, so you don't want to break them. I don't see nothing, wrong with this on this side or this on this side. This string actually looks really good, but since I'm going to take that one in to have it restrung, I will probably go ahead and just take this one in and let them restring it too. Just because a crossbow is cheaper, read the data on it. This crossbow over here was probably $700 when it come out. This one here is $269. Well, it shoots just as fast. It's a smaller, compact, crossbow. And, it's killed deer. I've killed deer with it. I haven't seen anything wrong with it. It's super fast. And it's just an all-around good crossbow. Now, I got a buddy that's got a Parker 750. I think that's what it is. He's wanting to sell. And, we in that negotiation phases. I'm trying to get it because, it's a better crossbow, or supposed to be a better crossbow than both of these. And what I would do is I would take and, probably keep both Parkers and let this go to one of my kids or grandkids or, somebody that's wanting to start crossbow hunting. I would just pass it down to them. Then I would keep the other one and keep my Parker as my backup. But it's not that there's a thing wrong with this bow. It's just, I like this Parker. I've had it for about 6 years now. And, I ain't had nothing walk away from it yet. But nothing's going to walk away from this one either. I just, don't hunt with this one until I find, like when I found out this one's scope had been messed up, I pulled this one out. And that nair being messed up cost me a 300-pound bear. And it was 20 yards under my stand. And I completely missed it. And, I guess I learned a lesson. I don't loan people my stuff if it's something I have to use next year. Like, if I know my Parker's in good shape, I would loan somebody this one, but you're not going to get my Parker. Because when I take in the woods, I want it right. And I do the same with my deer rifles. I got certain ones I hunt with. You can't borrow those, but I've got other ones that you can if one of the neighborhood kids or, somebody else want to borrow one. Now, on a crossbow, you're only shooting 50, 60 yards. When I've shot 10 points, crossbows and stuff, and they all do a good job. They all do. Now, I had one and I hope it don't land me in court for saying this. Well, I didn't have it. Some friends of mine had them, and they bought that bone collector one from Walmart. Well, the limbs would bust on them while they was lining them up to get them ready to go into the woods. You know, you're sitting there lining your scope up, and the limbs would bust on them. Well, they called and called and called and called, trying to get customer service to no avail. And I still don't know. Walmart wouldn't take them back, and they couldn't get a hold of nobody at the bone collector bow thing. I don't know if it has anything to do with Michael Waddell, if that's just something, you know, somebody manufactured with his name, with his, you know, bone collector thing on it. But, you know, when stuff like that happens, I know of 3 or 4 that the limbs busted on. You couldn't give me one. I don't care what the price is. If somebody was trying to trade one in, I wouldn't take it, because I wouldn't shoot it, and I wouldn't allow nobody else to shoot it, because I know, you know, there was a bad malfunction in those. Now, I've never heard if they actually fixed it or not. They may have. But I know at that time they was having problems. And, you know, when you get a bad taste in your mouth, you get a bad taste in your mouth. Now, with these, I do have the lines. I actually took this one off. Well, I took the other one off. I had a red dot on this, you know, that's just got the red pointer. And I had it lined up at 50 yards, and I kind of adjusted, you know, on the deer for my shot. But now I put this one on it, and I've got it lined up. But, you know, give crossbows a try. If they're legal in your state, give them a try, man. They're a lot of fun. And if you think about it, instead of, you know, you're doing all this movement to get your bow ready, you know, you got this sitting on the window of the deer stand, and you just tap, and it's gone. But I do need to get a sling on this. I don't know why I don't have a sling on this. I think I did. I may have took it off. But you know, I wanted to talk to you about crossbows. There's thousands of crossbows out there. You know, look for one that's, you know, your budget may be a lot more than mine. You know, you may be able to put $2,500 in one and get one of these super nice, you know, oh my God, crossbows. My budget don't have that. But, you know, for in my budget, this or that Parker is right in there, and they do a great job for what I'm doing. Now, I'm not heaving no 100-yard shots, about 50, 60 yards as far as I shoot. And most of the time, the thing is I'm going to say 70% of my shots is within 30 yards. From 30 to 40 is about, I'm going to say, another, you know, 70%, because most of them is within that 30 to 40. And, you know, if I can get them on in here to 30, that's great. But, you know, sometimes it's hard, boys. He's sitting there and he's sitting there just taking his time, looking around and sniffing, and you're waiting for it to blow you out of the deer stand. And, you know, we use these to do the doe population, keep the doe population kind of in check. And what we say is, when she blows, she's got to go. Okay. You know, these have killed a lot of deer. I'm not knocking a compound at all. I love compounds. I wish I could still shoot them. I just can't. And a recurve, you know, man, you don't even know. I like to have one of them, nothing else, just get out here in the yard and to see if I could get to where my instinct with that bow would hit a target. I've looked for them, and man, I've seen them in flea markets, and oh my God, they were just stupid price. They wanted, you know, like $300, $400 for a recurve. I just can't see putting that kind of money in something that, you know, I know there's a lot of people hunts with them, but you know, that's a old technology. And, you know, I don't think they've done a lot of improvement on them over the years. They may have, but, you know, the one I was looking at didn't have no sights. It didn't have no res. You know, it just was. And I will say this: if you're going to buy a crossbow, compound, or anything else, go online, look at the reviews, look at your budget. You know, that's the first thing. Look at your budget, and let's say you can do $600. Okay, remember you got to buy arrows, and that's another thing. Let's talk about them for a second. Well, here's some. I shoot these Rage. They're just a Rage bolt, and you want to make sure that if you change brands, that all the weight and everything of this bolt is the same. Okay, it'll have the bolt weight and all. Okay, I have shot every kind of broadhead from, you know, them big name ones. The only one I ain't never shot is that the Guillotine. That one, you know, opens up monsters and they show it cutting turkeys' heads off and stuff. I ain't never got to shoot one of them. But I'll be honest with you, I've shot, you know, about every brand out there. From, you know, some it's costing me $20 a piece for broadheads. And at the end of the day, it done the same thing as this Allen. I shoot Allens now. And the reason I shoot a fixed broadhead, when I was shooting mechanicals, these crossbows, and I would take a deer hide and stretch it in front of the target. And I would look and see if that, you know, would open up. And then I would put, honestly, the way we tested it was we put a deer hide up, then we put paper up, and then we had the target back here to stop it. Okay, when I shot mechanicals, it would shoot through. Let me grab this one, I'll show you. This is a practice tip. Well, mechanical is made to do like a practice tip, but it opens up when it hits something. It would go through the deer hide and through the paper, and it looked like a 22 had shot that deer. Okay, it was so fast that the mechanical broadhead wasn't opening up. And, you know, when I start tracking deers out to, you know, 100, 125 yards, we need to change something. So I went and got me these non-mechanicals, you know, the fixed blade broadheads, and shot them. Well, they go through the deer hide cut, and they, you know, this is the inch, I think 7/8 cut. It went through the paper, done an inch of 7/8 cut, and it went into the target, inch of 7/8 cut. Now the difference is the flight pattern on these mechanicals. They'll fly a little different than your practice tips. So when you get it kind of zoomed in with your practice tips, you'll have to shoot a couple with your broadheads on it to get the flight pattern of that broadhead where it's fixed, to get it to match up to where, you know, it's hitting your target accurately. Okay, I can tell you a way to save a lot of money. At the end of the year, go to Walmart. After bow season's over and they mark everything down, you know, it's usually right after Christmas. Everything on the hunting stuff goes down on price. Okay, these arrows will run you anywhere from $6 up. They're about $7 a piece at Walmart. These here, I think, is about 8 something. Okay, then, you know, the broadheads I'm shooting are 3 for $12, so you got $4 there. So, you know, here's the thing. That's $10 every time you fly one of them. So, you know, if you can save money, it's a good idea to do it. And what I do is I go after, when everything's on sale, they'll knock them arrows down. They'll have like a pack of them. They come with 12 in a pack. And, you know, they'll be a third of the price. And I'll buy them. And usually I'll buy if they got 3 or 4 packs, and let's say they're $12 a pack, I'm buying all of them. Okay, when they put the broadheads on sale, you know, I go ahead and buy a bunch of them. And then I have broadheads and I have extra bolts. You know, when, like next year when the price of everything goes up, I've got boats. And if my buddies run out, I've got a few that I can disperse out to my friends I hunt with. So, you know, it works out real good like that. But I want to go over and, you know, kind of give you safety tips on these. Okay, always check your string. I don't care if I hunted yesterday. And another thing, I always do this. Okay, I carry 3 with broadheads, and then I usually have the 4th one in here, the broadhead, and this is in my truck. Okay, if I'm going back hunting tomorrow, I might leave that crossbow cocked. But if I know, okay, it's going to be next weekend before I get to hunt, I'm uncocking this crossbow because, man, that's a lot of force just stand on them limbs. But for a day or two, you know, that's all right. But it'd be a good idea to every day when you come in, just taking, you know, fling that arrow into your target, go get it back and put it in the truck, and uncock that crossbow so it's not sitting there with all that pressure on it. But trust me, double check everything on your crossbow every year. And if you don't feel comfortable doing it, take it to a bow shop and let them check everything out. And that way, when they hand it back to you, you can go in the woods with confidence that, you know, it should not fly apart on you. But, you know, if I can get that one of my buddies, I'd like to have it. It was kind of expensive when he bought it, you know, and I don't have a lot of money. So, you know, I try to G and haul and Jew and trade and stuff like that to get the things like that I want. But, you know, I look at the things in life like this. If I get it, yay. If I don't, well, it just wasn't meant to happen. And, you know, I still have these 2. But, you know, look into crossbows, look into bows. And here's another thing. Think about this. I know a lot of people says, well, I'm not going in the woods with a stick. Okay. I get to hunt a whole month with these before muzzleloader season starts. So I get to hunt, you know, a whole month with a crossbow before all the hunting pressures get in the woods. You know, that's when you get in there and the deers are calmer. They're not being pushed. They're not, you know, on high alert all the time and stuff like that. Okay. And muzzleloader season is next, which gives you 2 weeks of muzzleloader. And, you know, you can really do good in muzzleloader season because if you got your muzzleloader right, you can reach on out there. But this does give you a full month to hunt that normally you wouldn't have. And, you know, if you're like a lot of people working, you know, let's say you just get to hunt the weekends. That gives you 4 more weekends you can hunt. And, you know, then if you go into muzzleloader, that's 6 weekends you gain. And you're just not hunting the 2 weekends of rifle season. But I want to come on here and tell you, you know, to look into crossbows, look into compound bows if that's what you want to do. I mean, they're all good. But, you know, I just want to come in and show you the crossbows and, you know, kind of explain things to you about them. But I always, like I'm going to repeat it again. I know I sound like a parrot. Check your strings. Check the limbs. Because these can absolutely, you know, murder you. They'll kill you if they go off wrong. And, you know, if that limb busts and that piece comes back, it can knock your eyes out, cut you, just anything. So, you know, double check everything on it. If you're not feel safe with it, I'd have a, you know, a bow guy to do it. And now me, I usually try to do it every 3 to 5 years, depending if the string, you know, if I look at that string, it looks like it did the day they put it in, I don't worry about it. But the first little bit of sign of wear, it's going back to the bow shop, and I'm going to have them put me a string on it. And I'm not going to put a string on it. I'm going to let them do it. I'm going to let them make sure everything's just, you know, they check it out for me, do all that. They'll look at all the limbs and everything, make sure everything's just the way it's supposed to be. And that way, when I get it back, same thing. I know it's in good shape and it's ready to go to the woods. Okay. I appreciate everybody stopping by. I hope it helps you some way with, you know, coming up deer season. We will take these out and shoot them one day. I'll take them out and show you, you know, how to line them up and all that. But today I just wanted to get them out, check my strings, because it takes a minute to get them back sometimes when you put them in a bow shop. And this is towards the end of July, so, you know, I'm going to put it in there probably the first of the month, which would be August. And then bow season starts in October. So that gives me 2 months to play, and I can get it, you know, back from the bow shop by then. But a lot of time, man, bow shop takes a minute because, you know, they got a lot of bows they're working on. But I hope this helps you. Y'all have a good day. Have a blessed day. Be good to each other, and we'll see you on the next video.